The valley is silent. On one side, the army of Israel, thousands of soldiers in formation, spears planted in the ground, shields resting against their legs. They're standing perfectly still, waiting. On the other side, the Philistine army, just as large, just as armed, just as still. Between them, a stretch of empty ground, no man's land. The killing field. This has been the routine for 40 days now. Every morning, the same humiliating ritual. The Israelite soldiers wake up, put on their armor, grip their weapons, and march down to the valley. They line up in battle formation. They look fierce. They look ready. But they're not. Because every morning, one man walks out from the Philistine camp and changes everything. His name is Goliath. He's over 9 feet tall. Some accounts say closer to 10. His armor alone weighs 125 pounds. The iron point of his spear weighs 15 pounds, more than most men's swords. When he walks, the ground trembles. When he speaks, his voice carries across the entire valley like thunder. And every morning for 40 days, he's issued the same challenge. Choose a man to fight me. If he kills me, we'll be your servants. But when I kill him, you'll serve us. 40 days, 40 mornings. The same challenge, and not one Israelite soldier has moved. Not one. The entire army of Israel, battle-hardened warriors who fought the Philistines for years, is paralyzed by one man. Until today. Today, someone accepts the challenge. And he's not even a soldier. Let's rewind a few months to understand who this giant is and why Israel is so terrified. The Philistines have been Israel's enemy for generations. They control the coastal plains. They have superior iron weapons. Israel is still mostly using bronze, and they've been trying to expand their territory inland for years. This particular battle is taking place in the Valley of Elah, a strategic location between Philistine territory and Israelite land. Whoever controls this valley controls the trade routes, the resources, the power. King Saul has gathered Israel's army here. Saul is a big man himself. The text says he stood head and shoulders above everyone else. He's a warrior. He's led battles before. But even he won't fight Goliath, because Goliath isn't just big. He's a champion, a professional warrior. The Philistines have a tradition of deciding battles through single combat. One fighter from each side, winner takes all. It saves lives, it's efficient, and when you have a man like Goliath, it's almost guaranteed victory. Goliath is from Gath, one of the 5 major Philistine cities. He's probably descended from the Anakim, an ancient race of giants that Moses' spies encountered when they first scouted the Promised Land. Those spies came back terrified, saying, "We felt like grasshoppers compared to them." That fear has been passed down through generations, and now it's paralyzing an entire army. Every morning, Goliath walks out wearing full armor, bronze helmet, bronze coat of mail, bronze shin guards. He carries a javelin slung across his back and that massive spear. A shield bearer walks in front of him, carrying a shield so large it's like a moving wall. He stands in the middle of the valley and shouts his challenge. His voice drips with contempt. "Why do you even come out here? You're not warriors. You're servants of Saul. Send me a man. Let's settle this." The Israelite soldiers hear him. They grip their weapons tighter. Some of them mutter under their breath. A few of the younger ones might take a step forward, filled with rage and pride. But then they really look at him. They see the size, the armor, the confidence, the absolute certainty in his eyes that he will win. And they step back. This has destroyed morale. Saul's men feel humiliated, emasculated. They're supposed to be God's army, the people who conquered Canaan, the descendants of warriors. But they can't even produce one man willing to fight. Saul has tried everything. He's offered a massive reward to anyone who kills Goliath. Wealth, his daughter's hand in marriage, tax exemption for the fighter's entire family. It's an incredible offer. Still, no one moves. Enter David. David isn't part of the army. He's 17, maybe 18 years old. A shepherd, the youngest of 8 brothers. 3 of his older brothers are in Saul's army, fighting in this war. But David? He's back home in Bethlehem, taking care of his father's sheep. His father, Jesse, sends him to the battlefield with supplies: roasted grain, bread, cheese for his brothers and their commander. It's a multi-day journey. David leaves the sheep with another shepherd and makes the trek to the valley of Elah. He arrives in the morning, right as the armies are lining up for battle. He leaves his supplies with the baggage keeper and runs to the battle line to find his brothers and see how they're doing. And that's when he hears it. That voice. Goliath's voice. Booming across the valley. "Send me a man." David watches the Israelite soldiers. He sees them flinch, sees the fear in their eyes, sees them back away. He turns to the men standing near him. Who is this uncircumcised Philistine that he should defy the armies of the living God? The soldiers look at him like he's insane. That's Goliath of Gath. He's been doing this for 40 days. No one will fight him. David keeps asking questions. What's the reward for killing him? They tell him about Saul's offer. He's listening, but there's something else in his tone. Not greed, disbelief, offense. This man is defying God's army, David says. Someone needs to stop him. His oldest brother Eliab overhears this and explodes. Why are you even here? Who's watching the sheep? I know how conceited you are. You just came down here to watch the battle like it's entertainment. David's used to this. Eliab has always treated him like an annoying kid. What have I done now? Can I even ask a question? But David's words are spreading through the camp. Soldiers are talking. There's a kid here asking about fighting Goliath. He sounds serious. Word reaches King Saul. He sends for David. David stands before King Saul in the command tent. Saul is massive, easily 6.5 feet tall, broad-shouldered, wearing partial armor even here in the tent. He looks down at this teenager in shepherd's clothes, dusty from the road, smelling like sheep. "You wanted to see me, Your Majesty?" David says. Saul studies him. "I'm told you're asking about fighting the Philistine." "Yes, sir, I'll fight him." The tent goes quiet. Every officer, every commander stops what they're doing and stares at David. Saul's expression softens, almost sad. "Son, you can't fight him. You're just a boy. He's been a warrior since his youth. He'll kill you in seconds." David doesn't back down. His voice is calm, certain. "I've been keeping my father's sheep. When a lion or a bear came and took a lamb from the flock, I went after it, struck it, and rescued the lamb. If it turned on me, I grabbed it by its fur, struck it, and killed it. I've killed both lions and bears." The officers exchange glances. Is this kid serious? "This uncircumcised Philistine will be like one of them," David continues, "because he has defied the armies of the living God. The Lord who rescued me from the paw of the lion and the paw of the bear will rescue me from the hand of this Philistine." There's something in David's eyes. Not arrogance. Faith. Absolute, unshakable faith. Saul realizes he has no other options. 40 days without a volunteer. And now this shepherd boy is the only one willing to step forward. "Go," Saul says quietly, "and may the Lord be with you." Saul tries to help. He has his servants bring his own armor, the king's armor, and dress David in it. They put the bronze helmet on David's head. They strap the coat of mail over his chest. They belt his sword around his waist. David tries to walk. He takes a few steps and nearly trips. The armor is too heavy, too big, too restrictive. He's never worn armor in his life. He can barely move. "I can't fight in this," David says, pulling it off. "I'm not used to it." He hands it all back, stands there in his simple tunic and shepherd's cloak. Then he walks out of the tent, picks up his shepherd's staff, and heads toward the brook that runs through the valley. He kneels down at the water's edge and starts searching through the smooth stones in the stream bed. He picks up one stone, feels the weight, examines the shape, sets it aside, picks up another, too light, discards it, another, too rough. No, he's looking for specific stones, smooth, round, the right weight. Stones he's thrown 1,000 times at predators threatening his flock. Stones he knows will fly straight and fast. He finds 5 perfect stones, puts them in his shepherd's bag. Then he picks up his staff and his sling, a simple leather strap with a pouch in the middle, the same weapon he's used since childhood, and starts walking toward the valley. The entire Israelite army is watching him. Thousands of soldiers, and you could hear a pin drop. Some of them are shaking their heads. Some are praying. Some probably think he's going to his death, and they're about to watch it happen. David walks down into the valley, alone. Unarmed by any standard that matters in warfare. Goliath sees movement and steps forward. His shield-bearer moves with him, that massive shield blocking the sun. Goliath is expecting a warrior, someone in armor, carrying a sword, showing some respect for the challenge. Instead, he sees a teenager with a stick and a bag. Goliath stops walking. For a moment, he just stares. Then he starts laughing. It's a deep, mocking sound that echoes off the valley walls. "Am I a dog," Goliath shouts, "that you come at me with sticks?" He curses David by his gods, Dagon, Baal-zebub, all the Philistine deities. "Come here," Goliath says, his voice dripping with contempt, "and I'll give your flesh to the birds and the wild animals." Both armies are watching now. Every eye in the valley is on these 2 figures, the giant and the boy. David doesn't stop walking. He keeps moving forward, steady, calm, and then he speaks. His voice is young, but it carries, clear and strong. "You come against me with sword and spear and javelin," David shouts back. "But I come against you in the name of the Lord Almighty, the God of the armies of Israel, whom you have defied." Goliath's smile fades slightly. "This day," David continues, and there's fire in his voice now, "the Lord will deliver you into my hands. I'll strike you down and cut off your head. And the whole world will know that there is a God in Israel." The Israelite soldiers are barely breathing. "All those gathered here will know," David's voice rises, "that it is not by sword or spear that the Lord saves. For the battle is the Lord's, and he will give all of you into our hands." Goliath has heard enough. This little shepherd is mocking him, embarrassing him in front of both armies. He roars and starts moving forward, his armor clanking, his spear raised. The shield-bearer struggles to keep up. David runs toward him, not away, toward. He's sprinting now, closing the distance. While he runs, his right hand reaches into his bag. His fingers find one of the smooth stones. He pulls it out, fits it into the sling's pouch. Goliath is maybe 50 feet away, 40, 30. David's been doing this since he was 6 years old, scaring off wolves, killing lions, protecting the flock. A sling in the hands of an expert shepherd isn't a toy, it's a precision weapon. Stones from a skilled slinger can reach speeds of over 60 miles per hour. They can crack skulls, break bones, kill. 20 feet. David plants his feet. His arm comes up in one smooth motion. He's done this 10,000 times. The sling whirls in a circle above his head, building momentum. Once, twice, then he releases. The stone flies. Goliath probably doesn't even see it. He's charging forward, focused on crushing this boy. His shield bearer is slightly to the side. The shield isn't protecting Goliath's face. The stone hits him square in the forehead. There's a crack, audible even from the battle lines, the sound of stone meeting bone. Goliath stops, mid-step. His eyes go wide. The stone has embedded itself in his skull. For one frozen moment, everything stops. Goliath sways. His spear drops from his hand, his knees buckle, and then all 9+ feet of him crashes to the ground like a felled tree. The impact shakes the valley floor. Silence. Absolute silence. David doesn't hesitate. He runs to the fallen giant. Goliath is face down, unconscious or dead. David doesn't know which. He sees Goliath's sword still in its sheath at his side. David pulls it out. The thing is massive. He needs both hands to lift it. He raises it above his head and brings it down on Goliath's neck. One swing, then another. When he's finished, David is holding Goliath's head by the hair. Blood is streaming down his arms. He's breathing hard. He turns to face the Philistine army, holds the head up high, and that's when the spell breaks. The Philistines see their champion's severed head in the hands of a teenager. Their invincible warrior is dead, killed by a boy with a rock. They break. Panic spreads through their ranks like wildfire. Soldiers start backing up, then turning, then running. Full retreat. And the Israelite army, silent and terrified just moments ago, erupts. A roar goes up from thousands of throats. They surge forward, weapons raised, chasing the fleeing Philistines. The battle is over before it really began. The Philistines are routed. Israel wins decisively. And David? David stands in the valley, covered in giant's blood, holding a head that weighs more than most men's torsos, probably trying to process what just happened. The shepherd boy just killed the unkillable warrior. The entire world just shifted. The Israelite army chased the Philistines all the way back to their own cities, Gath and Ekron. They plundered the Philistine camp, taking weapons, supplies, everything of value. David took Goliath's armor as a trophy. He would later store Goliath's sword in the tabernacle. But first, he carried the giant's head all the way to Jerusalem. Some scholars think he kept it as proof. Others think it was displayed as a warning to Israel's enemies. King Saul, watching from the command post, turned to his military commander Abner and asked, "Whose son is that young man?" Abner had no idea. "As surely as you live, I don't know." When David returned from killing Goliath, still carrying the head, Saul asked him directly, "Whose son are you, young man?" "I am the son of your servant Jesse of Bethlehem," David replied. What Saul didn't know, but the prophet Samuel knew, was that God had already anointed this shepherd boy as the next king of Israel. Samuel had poured oil on David's head months earlier, in a secret ceremony at Jesse's house. God had rejected Saul and chosen David. This battle was David's introduction to the nation, his debut. And what a debut it was. From this moment on, David's life changes completely. He can't go back to shepherding. Saul keeps him at the palace. David becomes best friends with Saul's son Jonathan. He marries Saul's daughter Michal. He leads military campaigns and wins every single one. The women of Israel start singing a song that will eventually drive Saul mad with jealousy. Saul has slain his thousands, and David his tens of thousands. That jealousy will lead to years of Saul trying to kill David. David will spend years running, hiding in caves, living as a fugitive, but he will survive. And eventually, he will become king. But it all started here, in this valley, with 5 smooth stones and unshakable faith. Here's what gets me about this story. Everyone saw Goliath as too big to fight. David saw him as too big to miss. Same giant, different perspective. The entire Israelite army looked at Goliath and calculated the odds, his size, his armor, his experience, his weapons, and they concluded, impossible. We can't win. David looked at the same giant and thought, he's defying the God who killed lions for me. God didn't bring me this far to let me die here. The difference wasn't skill. It wasn't size. It wasn't even courage, really. It was faith. David had killed lions and bears in private, moments no one saw, battles no one celebrated. But those private victories built the faith he needed for the public one. When everyone was watching, when the stakes were national, when failure meant death and humiliation. Your Goliath probably doesn't carry a spear. Maybe it's fear. Maybe it's a diagnosis. Maybe it's a person who's been tormenting you for 40 days or 40 years. Maybe it's a dream that seems too big, too impossible, too protected by giants. And maybe you've been standing on the sidelines with everyone else, convinced that someone bigger, stronger, more qualified needs to step up first. But what if God is looking at you? The shepherd, the overlooked one, the too young or too inexperienced one, and saying, "You, I want you." Because here's the truth David understood. The size of the giant doesn't matter when you know the size of your God.